No idea how to pull any chats up on my phone.
And then in theory, down here, we should get live YouTube.
Okay.
And then,
live. Looks
do you
like
have
it's
your phone
working.
on you?
Hey, everybody. Yeah, my phone's behind me.
Yeah, great. I would grab it so that we can pull up the YouTube app and you want to log in
Getting a spam call.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Nice. I should move that mic though.
Yeah, probably. Hey, let's see if we have anybody joining us. Where's the chat?
The chat, no one's typed yet, so. But we are live.
Okay, so nobody's coming in yet?
Not yet. It's only been 1 second, so.
There we go. Hey, I can't see who it is because the chat's way too far away.
We are live.
We got people rolling in. Okay, we got a special live.
We do have a special
tonight,
live.
So
can you hear us all right? We'll see them type in a minute.
Yeah. Okay, got some hearts. Can you hear our audio? I'm gonna try to pull up the. You probably deleted the YouTube Studio app from my phone.
Probably. No, you got it. You just gotta search.
Declan decided that my phone had boomer energy, so he deleted move things, I guess. Okay, how does one get to? Can I get to the chat box on here?
Yeah, you should be able to.
Hey everybody, welcome. We are kicking off Supernormal week. I'm here with Declan Lee. So we have an awesome, show program for you tonight. It is Willpower Wednesday. So we're going to let people roll in, and we are going to talk about willpower. So if you're looking for more willpower and actually more discipline, this is the place to be. So hey, how's it going? I'm glad everybody's here.
Oh, where's the keyboard?
That grate behind me.
Yeah, we're gonna have a little bit of.
Yeah, we're gonna have a little
setup.
tech.
It is a
tech exploration here.
It is a process.
We are going to be live every single night this week. So tonight is testing our tech. We're trying to do a setup where we're next to each other, not on screens. So hey, everybody. Hi. I'm so glad you're here. Tonight we're talking about willpower, so buckle up. We've got stories, we've got neuroscience. Yes. Oh, nice. Okay. Hey, Diamond Mind.
You can read it there.
6:30. Yep. Okay. Oh, thanks.
Yeah, that should work out fine.
I know. Oh, thanks. Ooh. This is my office. Thank you, Alfonsina. I'm glad you're here. We tried to get the office going by moving my office chair and sitting in here together. So. Christ Walker, hey, my friend. Ooh. Kaylee Carey, hey, how are you? Bianca's in the house. Hi, Bianca. Braxton, what's going on? So we're just testing our tech, and we have some really great content for y'all. So, yeah, red meme, Declan in the house.
Uh-oh. We know red meme 6680 around here.
Yeah,
that is a familiar face.
That is a familiar handle. Hey, Louie, what's going on? Louie's here with us.
Nice.
Yeah, so Declan's brave enough to drink LaCroix while we're doing a live. I'm not. Gotta want to manage bubbles while we're hitting the live.
Absolutely, it's worth it.
Hey,
we got Bean 2840 in the chat. Nice. Hey, welcome back.
Yo, Dirk.
I feel like that was one of our top donors the other day.
It was one of our top donors.
Wow.
Yep, I am good. Hey, Knowledge Seeker. So tonight we have a different format. So I just want everybody, as you're rolling in, to know that Declan and I are here together. We're going to be here every night this week. So
yes,
cancel
7 days.
Cancel your plans, if you know what if you know what I mean. Because we really do have awesome, information that becomes knowledge that becomes wisdom. So buckle up because we're ready for it.
Yeah. So today, what day is it?
Wednesday.
And what does that mean?
That means it's Willpower Wednesday.
It is Willpower Wednesday.
Let's see. Who we got? Oh, red meme.
Who do we have?
Streamathon.
Streamathon with Declan with Tech. That's right. We got Diamond Mind saying hi. Hi, Diamond Mind.
Yeah, Deck and I are excited. We've been really preparing this hardcore. So, thank you, Aish.
Aish, yeah.
Yeah, we're on a mission, and we're on Supernormal week,
That's
and
right.
feel free to interject at any time, is we are broadening this. We're not going to focus hardcore on explicit matter. So what I was about to say before I was saying hey to more people is that next week I will be back for After Hours Rewire, full 55 minutes of Q&A and diving into all the questions. Today we have more of a format. So, but of course we'll be taking questions, but we're focusing on willpower tonight. So get your questions about willpower, especially as we get going.
That's right. And we'll sort of follow the flow where right now we're just warming up and saying hi to everybody. And then we'll go ahead and do the normal slideshows that y'all have been getting used to. And then from there, we've got some fun little experiments to talk about that are involving willpower. And what was the other word for it? It was
instant versus delayed gratification. And yes, I'm the one who's making us do this scientific experiment. Seamus in the house, he's ready to moderate.
I gotta make sure he's
Deck's gonna do a little bit of tech support here, but we'll just let some people in and then we'll get rolling here. Seamus is in the hizzy. He's gonna help us
and he
moderate.
should be a managing moderator now, assuming that everything went the way I hoped.
Planned.
That's right.
The best laid plans of mice and men. So, okay, let's.
Do you want to hop into the slideshow or just talk to? We could talk to people for a bit.
Yeah,
we're in no rush at all.
Thanks. These are just my rings, but thank you. Yes, red memes here with Seamus.
Classic red meme.
Now, a cool thing about Declan and I, which I was telling in my programs, I run a program where we do a monthly meeting, and there's about 50 people in it today. Hopefully some of those people are here or are going to roll in. And I was telling those people in my group that Declan and I actually do this all the time. Obviously not on a live and not in front of a camera. We call it coffee clutching.
We just talk like most mornings.
Yeah,
we just talk about
Declan
work, about life, about
Declan
whatever.
Doesn't live here, so anytime he's here at the house, we basically prioritize it, right? So this morning we were doing it, and I literally could not stop laughing because I kept envisioning us like
just doing it live right now.
We were talking about
sleep
sleep debt.
I would just say something normal about sleep debt, and then Dr. Trish would just burst out laughing because she's envisioning us talking about it live right now.
It was a really good conversation that applies here. So yeah, it was pretty funny. That's our coffee clutch session.
That is a coffee clutch conversation.
So
absolutely.
We could have those conversations here.
Seamus.
For sure.
Seamus in the chat.
Exactly. LOL.
Yeah.
So we do this often. So this is not a new thing. It's a new thing in front of a camera. But
yeah. How are we tech-wise, by the way, everyone? Do we sound loud and clear and we look good and nothing crazy going on? The chat has a little bit of a delay, so we'll see your responses in a second, but that is my hope.
Yeah, we're using our lavalier mics, which I usually use my wired mic.
The Shure microphone, that's right.
We're just making sure it all works. Yeah, family in the house, Bianca. You know that. Dr. Scott, you're here.
Thank you for the tech confirmations, everyone. That's really useful.
Yes, you're right. We do have almost, well, I guess with Seamus, we've got less than 50% of the family. I tried to convince Saoirse to come up for a guest appearance, but she was a no. She said she might join it.
Yeah, maybe in the future. We'll see.
In the future.
Yeah, but you want to roll into the slideshow?
Yeah. So
let's do it. Let me get us.
Let's see.
It's gonna be hard to do the chat during the slideshow. That's gonna fine.
Okay, so yep, you can put some. We'll come back to the chat. We're gonna share. Yeah, it is a family stream, exactly. So we're gonna share a slideshow that we put together and talk about willpower. So today's Willpower Wednesday, and we're gonna start off there. So put your thinking caps on because we're gonna have some fun, but we also do want to make sure that we have a brain hack strategy at the end of this time together, and the whole point is to show up for you. We're gonna have some fun doing it, but a reason that we planned this live is because Declan is championing the cause of balancing healthy screen time in the nonprofit that he and I have co-founded. It's called the Supernormal Project.
That's right.
So the website is about to go live if I ever get back to the web developing team.
Yeah, we're working on it. It's going under a little bit of R&D right now, so we're getting there.
It is mainly because we've been focused on this project, but So the Supernormal project, my hope is that you get to see the website by the end of this week. I think that hope is probably
Yeah, that's pretty
pragmatic,
likely.
right?
We'll have it
So
out.
yeah, by the end of our week here together, we'll have the website live. We'll be accepting donations and we're creating programs there. But the point is that we're here launching the
I'm
Supernormal
just gonna
project.
see if I can get the chat up.
Oh yeah, sounds good. So that we can help children, help people who might not be addicted to explicit matter but definitely feel the pull to their phone, and that's where we're going to start tonight. So that's what we're here to consider, the broader context of screens. Actually, Declan pointed out that, how do I always say his name wrong? PewDiePie? Is that
Yeah,
how you say it?
PewDiePie.
Say it again.
PewDiePie.
PewDiePie. We were watching it. PewDiePie, who's a very large YouTuber.
Yeah, he just released a video like 2 or 3 days ago about screen addictions and about the algorithm and about how it's super easy to get trapped, but there's ways out of it if you really try. And I thought it was super cool. So we were talking about it during our coffee clutch this morning.
Yep.
And I'm sure we'll make a video on that pretty soon, probably on the Supernormal YouTube channel, correct?
Yeah. So are we streaming on both channels right now?
We're streaming on just the
Dr.
main
Fish.
Twitch
Okay.
and YouTube channel, yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so are we sharing our screen or not yet?
Not yet. I can set you for that right now, though.
Okay, so
Let me full screen it real quick.
sure.
Yeah. Come on, where's the mouse? Bang. We're good.
Okay, we're good. Don't knock anything
Don't
over.
knock any bubblies over. That's right.
Yeah, LaCroix in this case, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so today we are talking about Willpower Wednesday. So first, what we're going to talk about is that it's actually a lack of discipline. So
It's not just a lack of discipline. It's also the fact that your brain gets depleted because you lack discipline over time. So today we're going to be
you should
talking
take
about
over.
how your willpower can drain, not because you have this inherent lack of discipline, but because just the screens coming at you constantly and a habit of scrolling forces you to not have discipline. You know what I mean? And that depletes your brain over time. That's what losing willpower is. So today, which is Willpower Wednesday, we're going to be talking about how you can increase that willpower, which will make you more disciplined naturally, and you'll be happier and more on purpose in your life. So let's get right into it.
Yeah, let's. I was going to have you do the willpower.
Yeah, sure.
So
We can do it together.
if you don't mind doing that one, because I thought it'd be fun.
Yeah, sure.
Then I
So-
can dive in.
Yeah. So today we're talking about willpower. By definition, you can see that willpower is control exerted to do something or restrain impulses. To do something, like if I want to pick up my water and drink it, I have the willpower to do that. It doesn't take much effort. But the restraining impulses is really the key to what we're talking about today. Let's say that you want to scroll on Instagram or you want to watch YouTube or a show instead of doing what you should be doing in your life. Like let's say you have an obligation, like work, or you could be spending some time with family. But you are just so attached to your phone based on habit that you end up going to your phone instead. That is a lack of willpower. So when you gain willpower, you can restrain these impulses and you can look at your phone and you might half reach for it, but you can go, wait, should I be on my phone right now? Probably not. There's not really a benefit to it. So then you decide not to. That's kind of the concept of willpower. It's a little more nuanced than that, but that's just the basic ground of what willpower is.
Yeah, love it. And if I can go back for a second,
Yeah,
if
sure.
it's okay, is that the point I was making about discipline, which piggybacks off of that, is that when you have discipline, because we live, or we try to at least, right, live disciplined lives, the more discipline you have in your life, the freer you are to not have to exercise willpower as often, because willpower takes exertion and restraint. So we do want to talk about, okay, how can you build more exertion toward restraint of the things you don't want to do while you're working towards the things you do want to do? But ultimately, I have a saying, if it's not scheduled, it's not real. You want to create a life of discipline. Like Declan here. Declan hits the gym on his scheduled days.
It's a work in progress, but yes.
At the exact same time.
It's building a habit. So for the gym, for me, it's just something I personally enjoy, and that's why I do it. So
But you go
yeah, let's say I
even
go
the days you
4,
don't want
5
to.
days a week. Exactly. And that habit, building it and knowing that you're working towards the goal in the future, really leads you to go on the days that you normally wouldn't want to. I could absolutely be on my phone, texting my friends or calling, but instead I go to the gym anyways because I've created this habit to go. It's a positive habit that keeps me disciplined.
Right.
So that is exerting willpower. That's not using willpower to restrain impulses.
Right.
Yeah.
And discipline is kind of next level with willpower. And I was thinking too earlier when I was downstairs, when like you're trying to peer pressure me into eating a donut. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't eat donuts. And he's like, just eat a donut. And I'm like, but I don't eat donuts. Like I just have had the discipline of not eating junk food for decades. So, which, I do have a saying because I read the book, The Butterfly and the Bell, which is such a good book about a guy who got locked in syndrome. And he realized like he didn't mindfully eat. So I will have a taste of things. So I had the taste of the donut, but that's like, I don't have to exercise tons of willpower because I have built into my discipline system, I don't eat junk food.
Yeah, I have my own discipline system, which is different than that one, which is that I track most of the food that I eat. So instead of worrying about, I'll just have a bite, which is a pretty good way to handle it. Instead, I'll have exactly this amount of donut. I'll have 20 grams of donut.
And when he says most of his food, he means 99.9.
Almost all of my food. And that way I never have to worry about eating too much like that. And it's the same with screens. Let's say you are an enjoyer of Instagram. You like texting your friends or even just looking at some memes here and there. That's not wrong on its own. There's nothing wrong with that. The issue is that the way the algorithm is designed is to retain your attention. The creators of companies make more money the longer that you scroll. So then you get into this habit, because of the way they set it up, to scroll for way longer than you'd like to. It's scrolling even though you don't want to be. It's not in your control. And that's the issue. So that if you can find a way to manage it where you can go on Instagram the amount that you want to, then that's an amazing skill. And that takes a lot of willpower and a lot of discipline to do.
Right, both of them. So we're going to dive even deeper into that.
That is right.
And
so
then we're going to break out the marshmallows.
We are going to break out the
marshmallows. And I feel like we should be dancing around after watching the PewDiePie video. In the PewDiePie video,
he was dancing around for about 80% of it.
Yeah, to hold people's attention.
Yeah,
like he's literally doing the thing that the algorithm necessitates.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. Yeah.
So I'm feeling like we should dance around. But
yeah, you want to take this slide?
Yeah, so what we are talking about here is overstimulation. And like Declan said before, overstimulation leads to brain depletion. This is the part that most people don't understand. And actually PewDiePie referenced that in the video, the part that I watched. I didn't watch the whole thing, but in there he said this is a brain thing, that your brain is born with certain traits, but the need to scroll isn't something that your brain is born with. It's being trained by the algorithm. So this is what we're talking about. And Declan said it. Declan and I talked about it when Declan said something about watching shows, or most people watch shows or are on their phone when they're eating, and then that people are bored if they don't. And I said that's not boredom, that's lack of overstimulation, because in today's day and age most people are accustomed to always being plugged into something and always being watching something, being entertained by something, passively consuming content. It leads to this inability to just sit and be present, and it can be very challenging. So
let me get my bearings again. Yeah, so there's actually a cycle to willpower. This isn't an exact science, but it's a very good way to think about willpower for building it for yourself and for implementing it in your life, to going from you don't have control of some things, like you scroll too much or etc. You watch pornography, you watch YouTube, you watch shows for too much time, right? More than you like. This is the general cycle to how it happens. It starts with you get exposed to something like a feed or pornography, and your dopamine spikes because it's just a lot of stimulation, and your brain goes, oh, this is a lot. I'll produce dopamine. It's a natural human response. And then enough of that, an hour in or even 10 minutes in, depending on how used to it you are, your brain ends up being fatigued. It really takes a toll on it. So then what happens is, because your brain's fatigued, it's harder to restrain impulses, and you go, oh, I lack discipline. There was no way for me to stop that scrolling. So then you think, oh, I should stop that. Or you don't think you should stop it because you haven't realized that it's an issue yet. And then you end up going right back onto your phone and scrolling more. If you realize it's a problem, or if you don't realize it's a problem, most of the time you end up going back to your phone for more because you liked the dopamine spike that you got. So that is this cycle. It goes from red to orange to pink around in a circle that way. You kind of get stuck in this cycle where you get dopamine, you like dopamine, it makes your brain really tired, and then your brain's too tired to fight the urge to get more dopamine. So you get more dopamine.
Yep, and the cycle goes on and on.
On and on and on.
And there are multiple studies with brain scan fMRI technology looking at the prefrontal cortex, and that fatigue is real. It shows up as structural and functional changes. Basically, structurally, the cells actually become smaller, and functionally, they drop offline. And those are the areas for impulse control and judgment. That's why judgment kind of goes out the window too, because a person can't make a good judgment if those areas are not working well.
That is right. So this is a quick little bit that I wanted to talk about because this has helped me a lot in my life regarding the scrolling aspect of things, or even watching YouTube or shows. There are apps out there right now that physically restrict how much time you can watch. The one I use is ScreenZen, and I love it. But it's very, very similar to the more popular app, Opal. And what they do is you can set a restrictive amount of time. Like, okay, I can go on Instagram 2 times a day for 3 minutes. So now the most time I could possibly scroll on Instagram in a day is 6 minutes. So then I end up opening Instagram and it kicks me off. And I open it again for 3 more minutes. It kicks me off. And then there's no more open button. The app is grayed out. It's unopenable. And the only way it will let you open it is if you go back into the app and wait staring at a blank screen for a really long time. And when your brain's in that mode of, I want instant gratification right now, I want to scroll, there's no way that you'll look at the phone for 2 full minutes while keeping it not turning off so that you can change your settings. So apps like these are great. Screen time management apps are really, really good. And they're just an example of tools that you can use to reduce how much you scroll or do bad habits that you've determined are bad in your own life, like spend too much time watching pornography.
Yeah, unwanted,
or
right? Unwanted
scrolling.
habits.
Unwanted habits, that's right. There's tons of apps out there, and there's other ways that you can avoid them too. But just personally, I've found that screen time management apps are a really cool and baseline way to start dealing with these sorts of habits.
Yeah, and they're awesome for willpower. And so, like, I guess, and actually I'm just coming up with this now, but like discipline is more of like the offensive strategy where, you know, you're running your game off of your offense, which is built on the discipline of your schedule and your life. Where using an app is more of a defensive strategy. It keeps you from doing the thing that you want to, but both of them together is what wins the game, right? Especially if you're struggling.
Yeah, and I just wanted to make a quick comment. We do see that you all are chatting.
Yeah,
we have it set up in a way right now that the slideshow is very focused while we're presenting it, so we can give you all guys some really great content. Once we're through with the slideshow, we'll be much, much more responsive to the chat.
I was going to say, can we go back into the chat for a
let's,
break?
You want to go back into the chat for a break? That is absolutely okay.
Let's take a break and go back into the chat just so we can see who's here. And oh, nice. Yes. Declan always teaches me tech strategies too, which he has taught me how to make the screen larger. He showed me how to put a horizontal line into my documents the other time.
It's essential skills, very useful stuff. Yeah.
And then you showed me something else where I'm like, yes. So I've been building skills. All right, let's see. How to get motivation back if you've lost it. That's a really good one. I can take that, or
you can take it.
If you had, the thing is, we're going to talk as we keep going through the slideshow that motivation is something that you've built, right? So if you've lost it, it's likely because of that depletion in your brain. And so from my standpoint, the name of my program is Regulate First. It's imperative to regulate your brain because then your motivation comes back, in air quotes. So you can do that with technology. We're going to show you the tech that I use, but you can also do it with your mind and body, but it's more challenging. And that's what we're talking about. And Declan can, if he's willing to, share a story or two when he's gotten off track. And, to open the front door to that story, he's like, I got sucked into gaming with my friends.
There's definitely been some eras of my life where I was not on lock with how I handled my habits. There's been times that I've gamed until 4 a.m. in the morning because I was having so much fun, even though the benefits weren't there. Or times that I've scrolled for 3 hours because I just couldn't control it. I didn't know that it was something that I could have willpower over and to restrict. So
Valheim says Seamus. I'm not sure what that means.
Seamus is mentioning a little arc that we've had in our time. We played this video game called Valheim. It's a great game, and it would have been a great game if I had played it for a couple hours a day with some friends. But when you play it for 10 hours a day for a couple days in a row, it really starts to drain on your brain. So
So the point about that is Declan told me, because we talk about this stuff too, and Alvy, I'm coming for your question, buddy, so I'll get that question in 1 second. But Declan told me, he's like, basically like, I fell off the wagon in terms of my sleep habits, and he's like, I'm back. And then you immediately locked in.
Yeah.
Did he want to lock in? Did it feel good? No. And, the next morning he called me at 7 a.m. and I'm like, what's wrong? And he's like, nothing. I'm back on track. And
I was just awake at 7 a.m. naturally because I had designed my life to be that way.
Locking
which is
in.
Not always, but when I've got willpower, it is.
And so if you've lost motivation, my suggestion, and I'd love to hear what Declan has to say, is to get back to discipline. Because that happens for me too. I've told people here before probably that I hired a health coach to help me be consistent in my workouts. I've always worked out my whole life, but it was falling off track at the end of last year. So I'm like, I'm locking in with accountability. I hired a coach, first of all. And then secondarily, like last night I'm doing yoga. The family's watching a movie. It's St. Patrick's Day. I bought the red beers, not that we drank a lot of them, but we poured Smithwick's red beers, but I didn't even drink mine.
Beer.
I didn't even drink mine. I was overdoing yoga in the corner because I had never done my workout for the day. So it's discipline. So, and then I got up this morning. The workout was the first thing that I did.
Yeah. Can we cover a few comments quickly in the chat?
Yep.
Yeah. Firstly, Dr. Scott asked, how do you schedule watching great content without it being detrimental? The key is doing it with purpose. If you're watching content on accident because you've been caught in the algorithm, that's detrimental. But if you go, oh, I'd like to watch some content because I think it will benefit me, and I'm going to watch this amount, and then you watch it, that's not detrimental. That's helpful. That's an amazing skill to have. Yep. Then I want to cover Alvy's comment real
totally.
quick.
Yep, I was going to get there too.
Does watching YouTube Reels cause a rapid dopamine spike? And they're asking you specifically, so go ahead.
Well, the answer is yes. Not as much as explicit content or gaming. It's called Supernormal Stimuli, and that's why we've called this Supernormal Week. That's why the nonprofit is called Supernormal Project. But anything that has seeking and scrolling, anything that is reel oriented, and the algorithm knows this, and people's attention span is down to the lowest it's ever been. The cognitive abilities of the younger generation are at the very lowest because of short form content that is designed to hook you, and then you can only maintain attention for a few seconds and you move on to the next thing. Every time you move on to novelty, that is a fast dopamine spike. And then of course, what you're watching also matters, but the answer is reels do create lots of rapid dopamine spikes because of the scrolling aspect. Anything you scroll, you're starting to get into a loop. And going back to Scott's comment, if you're here for an hour, right, and you're big chillin', you got yourself a La Croix, and this isn't fast content because we're not as snappy as we would like to be, it's not going to be the same. Okay, let's see. Paulo team, you can't avoid yourself or move, but you can make some changes and then take care of not in the consider using your online device. So, okay, so the question there, yes, thank you. So another strategy is that to schedule the use of your screens in public areas. If you are going to be watching anything that you don't want to. Right? And even Declan, the other day I walked by and he's like, he's supposed to be working, but he's watching a show.
I might admit that was not purposeful watching. I could have used a little more willpower there, for sure.
Not to throw you under the bus.
I got hit with quite the dopamine spike. My favorite show, the episode released, I didn't realize, and all of a sudden it was there. So
But the point is, he's doing it in the kitchen, right? So I'm like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, okay, I got to get back to work.
I got to lock back in, activate willpower.
It is.
And keep moving forward.
So if the strategies that work for you, that's defense, right? So many people do that. They will only use. That's why I think the schedule is important. But do what you got to do in the short run, to exercise more willpower. In the long run, you set up your life with the discipline. So when it comes to explicit matter, you don't consume it. In the end, that doesn't fit into the foundation. Does your favorite show when it drops? Yeah, that fits into the foundation.
Absolutely.
During your workday? No.
Probably not. Probably not. Yeah, I
Well,
want to
maybe
answer
as
Nugloff's question here. They're asking if there's different steps to mitigate how much you watch it depending on the different types of content you watch. Yeah, and whether it be explicit matter or it be screens like scrolling, the way that you mitigate it is actually pretty similar. The specific genre isn't as important, more as is realizing that you're watching it without wanting to. You're not doing it with a purpose. You're doing it because it's a habit and because it's an impulse. You just do it without really thinking about it. So the ways you mitigate that, there's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, and recognizing that the reason you're doing the thing that you're doing, whatever it might be, whatever you're consuming, is because that's where the dopamine is for you. The very high spikes of dopamine. And so if you're not spending your time intentionally, that's why you have to use the defensive and the offensive strategies. You have to strategize this thing. Declan and I, we strategize our lives, right? Our lives are not unfolding on accident, on autopilot. We didn't just show up here. We very intentionally have put together something that we want to share with you. With that comes intention. So recognizing that whatever you're going to for high dopamine spikes, it's taking you away from the intention. So then you have to go run defense and offense on your strategies.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, let's look at a couple other questions here.
Mellow Monkey 6426. Hey, there is a significant link between ADHD and increased addiction risk. Primarily driven by the brain's search for dopamine. When natural levels are low, tendency to seek out is high. Yes, so
Absolutely.
Mellow Monkey, the deal with that. So in my work, I can see brain scans, QEEG brain maps. So I've seen,
I can actually pull one up real
we're
quick.
estimating, if we have a picture of it, we're estimating that, I've analyzed over 50,000 brain maps, but it's probably a low.
Let me toggle to it. This on the right here, this is a slide we're going to cover later, but that is a QEEG brain scan. These ones are of a very healthy brain because this slide is about getting to that healthy point, but they can be very unhealthy or in the middle depending on how the brain's looking. And when the brain is not able to focus, as would be with ADD or ADHD, they end up looking a lot less green and a lot more orange and red.
Yep. Yeah, and
So
especially in
it's
theta.
just an example.
And when
there is a connection.
when theta's high, we know this. The biomarker for ADHD is too much theta. That is also, and listen to this one. That is also what screens do to your brain. I call it strained brain. So the longer you're in front of a screen, it's getting wired and tired. So the tired aspect is too much theta. If you have ADHD, your theta is already high. So then now you're in front of the screen. It feels good in the short run. And this is the reason why, to go back to the question, Mellow Monkey, is that if your brain's using too much theta, it's running a little too slow, which means it's looking for stimulation. So it gets to the screen and there's the stimulation through the dopamine that it wanted. But unfortunately, it's increasing the theta, which keeps that loop that Declan showed you going on and on and on.
All right, we are going to get back to the slideshow. We will be looking at the chat right after we finish the rest of this slideshow. We're going to be a little less attentive during it. Just a heads up. It's not that we're ignoring you. We just want to give you some really great content for a bit. So
and drum roll,
here
please,
comes
let's
the
get
science.
Back
into it. Yes.
Here comes the science. And science never sleeps is what I say in the family, because I love the science behind this. So do you want to talk about it or do you want me to?
I can start us off.
Yeah, start us off.
This is a classic experiment. It is a case study about marshmallows and the way that children react to delayed gratification. The general concept of the marshmallow test is that some children are given a marshmallow.
Wait, actually, we happen to have a bowl of
No way. Dude, we have
you were gonna blow through the marshmallows because Declan
marshmallows right here. What a coincidence.
Declan was all we had was mini marshmallows. They actually did it with a larger marshmallow.
They did do with a larger marshmallow.
Now I had what I want Declan to do, but we're going to have to modify it.
Yeah, so let's first explain what the
Uh-huh.
marshmallow test is before we get into this.
Uh-huh.
The marshmallow test is where a child is given a marshmallow, and they're told that if they can wait a certain amount of time before eating it, they'll be given a second marshmallow and be allowed to eat both. And the test shows how able the child is to delay gratification. If the child waits and they get the second marshmallow, that means that they have a decent amount of willpower. They have the ability to wait for a better result. And many children did the opposite. They ate the marshmallow before the time is up because it just looks so delicious in front of them. And the connection that we're trying to make here is that the marshmallow is like scrolling on your phone. If you scroll on your phone and you see Instagram or you see Explicit Matter and you want it now and you just blast through it, it doesn't give you the best result. The better result would be waiting and not going on your phone and living your life the way you want to instead of being scrolling on your phone even though you don't want to be. It's not a direct lineup, but waiting is better in both situations, which is why we connected these
It's
two.
instant versus delayed gratification.
That's right.
So the way that it goes in the study, which I wanted Declan to do, is that in the study, it's so cute. If you can look it up on YouTube, the videos are there of the strategies that the kids used to try to not eat the marshmallow. For some kids, it was easy. So they could just sit there and they would wait for, the researcher told them, you can eat that marshmallow now, but if you don't eat it, when I come back, I'll give you two. And so some of the kids would smell it. They would taste it or like just put their tongue on it, the tiniest little bit. They would keep looking at the door. They would sing songs. They used all these strategies, which is another study on willpower, is that the more strategies you have to use, the more exertion for restraint you're using. But those are the kids that gave in. The kids that were able to delay the gratification. Now, I think this is the coolest thing ever. This is a very long longitudinal study of very large amount of people. They studied these people across their lifetime. The people who were able to delay gratification, not eat the one marshmallow, they had better outcomes in, take a guess what? Let's get the chat to guess what the better outcomes were.
Yeah, sure. I'll pull the chat real quick.
So before I tell you, here's the question. In this very long-term study that the kids didn't eat the marshmallow, they were able to delay gratification instead of giving in to instant gratification, just like giving into your phone instead of putting your phone down and going to work. What do you think outcomes were better? Anybody have any thoughts before I tell you? Put them in there. And this study's so cool because it is a large study and the videos were really cute of the kids. Let's read a comment or two. Put in the chat what outcomes you think, because I want to know if anybody can nail this. Yeah, that's my son, Mohammed. This is Declan Lee. He is the co-founder of the Supernormal Project, our nonprofit. We've got Seamus Lee in the background running the chat. Mm-hmm. So if he tells you to stand down, we'll get to your question. That's also my son. Better life decisions. I love it.
That was actually the overarching one that they gave. That was the number one example.
That was basically the number, better outcomes in life. Yeah, what aspects of life? Okay, here's the question, Dr. Scott. With the marshmallow experiment, longitudinal experiment, they looked at these little kiddos. They looked at the kids who were not able to delay gratification. They ate the marshmallow right away. The kids who gave in to instant gratification versus the kids, the young kids who were able to delay gratification. They waited. They were told if they didn't eat the one marshmallow, when the researcher came back, they would get two. And in some cases, the researchers waited a really long time, pushing these kids over the edge of instant gratification. And what we're making the example of, this is one of the most fundamental studies. In any psychology class, you learn about the marshmallow experiment. I was starting to tell Saoirse, who's a freshman in high school, she already knows about this. So they studied these kids all the way through adulthood. And I'm asking, what do you think? What's one thing you think that was a better outcome for the kids who were able to delay gratification instead of those who gave in? And then, of course, thinking about how this plays out in your life. When I'm about to tell you right now, the outcomes, this is what you can have. If you can delay gratification, with your phone versus not.
Yeah, so let's see what the chat is saying. Alvy says that 70% fail. I think that was around the number. I don't remember exactly what it was, but a good amount of the children were not able to wait the time.
Yeah.
Better test takers.
Yes, Kaylee. IQ even.
Yeah.
All test, academic standing, IQ was higher. I'm going to have to get back to Price Walker. I'm not sure. Well, I'll tell you. And I need to go back to Yukanisa 69. Better social lives. Here's the point. People, young kids who were able to delay gratification, their outcomes were better in drum roll, no drum roll, Jack.
Yeah, no. Let's do a drum roll.
Everything. Absolutely.
Most
everything.
aspects of their life. The amount of money they made, how happy they were in their relationships.
Body mass index.
It was a very strong trend that just being happy, being successful, and living life the way that you want to was directly related to if they were able to delay gratification.
Yes, and that is what we are here talking about today. Exercising willpower and establishing discipline in your life so that you don't give into the instant gratification of whatever's on your screen. Instead, you lock in and you create the life that you want, the one that you deserve to have. And so many people are off track. And this is our point, is we want to help you get back on track so that a month from now, 2 months from now, a year from now, you are just psyched with yourself that you're creating what you want to create, not what your mom wants you to create, not what your brother wants you to, what you want to.
Do you want to keep rolling with the slideshow?
Yep, we'll get back to the slideshow
let's
before we
reply
don't.
to this one last comment before we do, asking, can we talk about games and how they affect the recovery process, please? Well, that depends on what you personally struggle with or succeed in. If playing too much games is a struggle for you, then games will hurt your recovery process, absolutely. But let's say you're addicted to something, or not even addicted, just have the habit of scrolling too much, and then you play games on the side. That's not a problem at all. It's just about what things you do in your life that you don't want to be doing, but you do them anyways because you feel an impulse to. Those are the things that doing more of is probably going to make you less happy as an individual.
Yeah, it's doing too much of it, being pulled to do whatever screen-based thing. Like, games are fine, right? It's just a matter of having it be part of a balanced life. And especially when I'm helping people recover from explicit matter, games can play a strong role as long as they're not a slippery slope into other behaviors. Mm-hmm. And, I've admitted this on lives before. When everybody's in the house, how many gaming systems do you think we have?
In our whole house, the gaming count?
Uh-huh.
It's a very high gaming count.
Like, we have a high gaming count at Casa de Lee.
This is a gaming family. Absolutely.
We are a gaming family, except for Declan introduced me to Coffee Talk, which I've rarely played.
It's a nice, good, relaxing game that is not the sort of game that you would accidentally play.
Yeah. So. And, we'll play Pixel Junks on like bored snowy days when we have nothing to do. We'll play Pixel Junk as a family.
Let's get back to the slideshow.
Back to the slideshow.
Star Chaser, thank you for reading the book. We're so glad that people have been reading it. Makes us very excited.
Happy birthday to you. Today is the 1-year anniversary of the book coming out. So thank you for bringing it up, Star Chaser, because I wanted to point out, if you haven't gotten the book yet, I encourage you to do so, because it has everything that you need. Yes, thank you. Oh, thank you. Coca-Cola.
Yeah, and Coca-Cola, neurofeedback is going to be a large part of our new nonprofit that we're having the website go out in just about a week's time. It is called the Supernormal Project, and neurofeedback is going to be a huge part of how we help people with screen addictions in that nonprofit. So look forward to that.
Yeah, in an easy and affordable way. So
yes,
definitely.
Okay, let's get back to the slideshow, everyone.
Awesome.
Let me pull it up. Boom. Okay, so the idea of the marshmallow test is that the marshmallow is just like a phone. If you can delay your gratification and not pick up your phone all the time, then you'll be much happier that you didn't do scrolling that you didn't want to in the first place. It's about not going on your phone on accident because you're impulsively brought towards it. We kind of already talked about that, but that's what this slide is about. But going forward on that, the ability to delay gratification is not a fixed trait. It is a skill. and the environment shapes it. If you set your surroundings up in a way that don't make it so that you're constantly having an easy time giving in to the urges that you don't want to, then you'll be able to have the willpower to avoid doing those things. A great example was how we talked earlier about the apps to make it so that you can only open an app a certain amount of time each day.
Yeah.
That is shaping your environment so that you are less likely to do the things that you don't want to, the impulses. And that gives you a massive head start on having a lot of willpower in your life.
Yeah, and I want to make the point that the algorithm is an environment. People don't realize that. Do you know what I mean? So like when you're talking about using an app to keep you out of the algorithm, we consider now, like researchers in this space of screen addictions and screen use consider the algorithm an environment in and of itself. So you step into that environment, which makes delaying gratification very difficult for the reason that all the questions that are coming in, how do I avoid this? How do I back out of that? That environment is the environment that's problematic. And
That's
so
right.
when you use those apps, you're keeping yourself from being in an environment that inherently shapes gratification in a different way.
Yep. All right, let's move through the rest of the slideshow with some focus.
Let's do it with rapidity.
Yes. All right. Why willpower alone isn't enough. A lot of people get so deep into the habits that they don't want to be doing that even if they get this willpower, the ability to avoid going to what they don't want to, a decent amount, they still end up doing it here and there, and then they end up going right back into this negative habit that they've built. So willpower alone isn't enough. You also have to have a plan. And that plan will keep you having willpower over time. So an example for that could be brain training, which is what we're showing here with this Muse headband. It is something you use to do neurofeedback, which we talked about just a minute ago in the chat, which is a way that you can train your brain to focus for longer periods of time. So if you have willpower and you learned how to get from no willpower to willpower, but then you get sucked back into the algorithm or into a habit you don't want to be in, making a plan of how you can keep that willpower and not get sucked back into your negative habit, that and willpower are enough. Willpower alone isn't.
Yeah,
Willpower
regulate
and
first.
a plan. Yes, you need to regulate. That's right. So this shows that if you have something like neurofeedback or a plan or a way to make it so that you can maintain this willpower, and you do it over time repeatedly, then it will lead you to having a very healthy brain. You'll be able to focus, you'll be able to avoid the urges to go online and scroll or look at explicit matter when you don't want to.
Yeah, or even
Yeah.
a mom at the barn. I took Saoirse to the barn. She rides horses. A mom, when I was telling her about our live, she's like, maybe she's here because she said she was going to have her daughter join. She's like, I find myself watching even just funny videos, but she's like, then 3 hours went by. You know what I mean? So it really is like the thing that appeals to you, sucks your brain in, and before you know it, 3 hours later, you've been getting those dopamine hits from cat videos.
All right, let's keep going. So the capacity reset. This is a great way to manage your willpower. This is less like willpower alone with a plan. This is more of a, I'm having a willpower moment where my willpower is not there. Let me get back to it. The capacity reset. So the first step is the hard stop. Let's say that you were scrolling and you realize, dang, I'm scrolling on my phone right now. I don't want to be doing that at all. Step one, this is the hardest part, is the hard stop. Just put your phone down. And I'm not talking about putting it down and fully resisting the urge. I just mean for 5 seconds, you put the phone down and you've detached yourself from scrolling. That's step one. And then step two is to slow down. You go, okay, I was doing something I didn't want to be doing. Let me relax for a minute. I haven't fully detached from it yet. My brain wants to pick it right back up, but I'm going to slow down and I'm going to avoid doing that for just a second more so that I can have a little bit of willpower build up. And then instead of picking it right back up and looking at what you were scrolling on or looking at on your phone, instead you introduce one thing at a time. Instead of going on your phone and scrolling, you could take a sip of water or you could stand up. It's very simple things. And doing these things with intent, you go, okay, I was doing something I didn't really want to. Let me do a couple really small things that I actually do want to. gives you the control back into your own hands. And that goes from no power to willpower really quickly. And that's a very powerful skill. So being able to have this capacity reset, you've no capacity, into having a basic capacity to have some willpower, that is a really powerful skill. And if you try it in your life, I think that great things will happen.
Yeah, and going back to what somebody commented, how do I get that motivation back? This is the way you do it, because going back to the slide on the brain performance pattern, that hard stop is stopping the depletion in your prefrontal cortex. Literally, you put your phone down, prefrontal cortex depletion, stopping. Then when you take some breaths and you move, you're actually re-engaging it. You're firing up the prefrontal cortex again. Then when you do a low stimulation task, you're bringing it online back in the healthy pattern. It becomes a neural reset. But we like to make it really pragmatic here. That 1, 2, 3, hard stop, slow down, go unload your dishwasher. Saoirse unloads the dishwasher around here, and she says she doesn't ever want to do it. But when she gets done, she's like, it's actually kind of gratifying, because you go from, it wasn't done to it's done in 5 minutes. Go do something, an embodied exercise where you're present, you're slowing yourself down, bringing your brain back on track.
That is right. All right, let's get back to the slideshow. Next is realizing that this is the hijack of wanting to scroll on your phone. You get miswired into not having the willpower to do so, and the fact that you can rewire it. So going back earlier to our cycle, you get overstimulated, your dopamine spikes, you get too tired to resist it, so your impulse control goes away. You feel bad about it, but you go back to your screen anyways. What you can do, or what happens rather, is between feeling bad and about going right back to it, you can rewire your brain, and having just a little bit of willpower in this one bit of the cycle, you can cut the cycle off. You can stop the going back for more even once. And if you build up the habit of stopping that going back for more just here and there, not every time, before you know it, you've realized I have the willpower to not look at what I don't want to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's building a muscle. And I love, you've actually touched on a really important concept. In the last slide, Declan was talking about how you realize you're doing something you don't want to do. That is actually the energy of guilt. I talk about it a lot. I talk about it in the book, actually. Happy birthday to it, right? So guilt is I'm doing something I don't want to do. Shame is I'm a bad person. And we know energetically, shame's the lowest energy. It takes you down in a downward spiral. That's actually in my group meeting today. Someone put that when they feel like a loser, they go back to the screen. I'm a loser is the energy of shame. I'm doing a thing I don't want to. That's the energy of guilt, which is a little bit higher. That's super empowering when you go from, all right, I don't want to do this, but now I have this strategy. That's how you go up in the energetic, levels to be able to accomplish your goal.
Yes.
And I see we had someone new here. Hey, Charles Isaac. Welcome, my friend.
All right, let's go to the slideshow. I just want to make sure that we are good on tech and everything. The stream looks fine for everyone, right? Let me go back here so we can read the chat for a second, and then we can wrap up.
Awesome, you can Nessa.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're reading the book. I just saw that. We have Infinity Warrior. We have
Coca-Cola, awesome. Oh, wow. I really love Yukanessa69. Thank you for supporting Muhammad. One really cool thing that's always happened on my lives is people support each other. So thank you, because this is a supportive community that we're building where we help each other. So awesome. Thank you.
Nice. Okay. We can get back to the slideshow. All right. Next, and then... Yeah, so the brain responds to the right input. So the wrong input is scrolling on your phone or looking at explicit matter. When you give it the right input, which is this little break in the cycle, you, instead of picking up your phone, you do something very simple that you are in control of and take back that bit of your life. That right input, your brain realizes, oh, that was a better decision to make. And that actually gives you a bit of dopamine on its own. Except this dopamine is amazing dopamine because it's the dopamine of willpower, not the dopamine of a lack of willpower.
That picture is so funny.
It's a great picture.
Those stockings in the back all have Q's on them.
Just not our family initial at all. It was just the only one left at the store.
We went to Target on Christmas Eve to get new stockings. The only ones had Q's, and it was actually Seamus's idea to get them because we needed like 6 of them or whatever. So funny.
But we got the Q stockings going on. So
yep, and you can retrain your brain through the wonders of neuroplasticity. Neural pathways can be retrained at any age. I was talking to one of my more aged, like a fine wine client just yesterday. He's going to be 80 soon, and you can retrain your brain at any single age, and that's why we are here. Neuroplasticity says where you train your brain to go, it will follow your training. So that's what we want you to become aware of right now is the training, right? You're training your brain like a puppy. And we want you to train your puppy to lead you into an intentional life that serves you.
That is right. So this is the end of our slideshow. Tomorrow is going to be Think About It Thursday. And less about willpower like today. Tomorrow is going to be about taking back control of your life. Willpower is a skill that lets you take back control, but tomorrow we are going to be covering how you can think about your life to take that control back with intent.
Yeah, and for me, it's really important to think about your programming, right? People don't understand you're programmed. It's nature, nurture, and navigation. We know this. So tomorrow, what we're going to cover is, don't believe all your thoughts. If you do, learn to question them. I question all my thoughts. Sometimes my most brilliant thoughts last week are my, worst thoughts this week. So I learned to think of them with discernment. So that's what we're going to talk about, and recognizing that we're programmed either by our parents, our communities, or by the younger versions of ourselves, even the version of ourselves from yesterday. So we're going to upgrade your software programming tomorrow with Think About It Thursday.
That is right. All right, we have finished our slideshow. We will get back to looking at the chat for a bit.
Yeah,
so let's see what people are saying.
Yeah, Seamus is a super great name, isn't it? When Seamus was born, Uncle Seamus, my husband has an Uncle Seamus who passed. So that's where the name comes from. Somebody just got the book the other day.
Yeah, it was Flint Hills.
Yeah, nice. Awesome. Very
Flint
cool.
Hills, Briar Gareth got the book. The book's a great book. It's a good book.
Okay, so let's see. Shame spiral. Yeah, any hypersexual behavior is not good for your brain. Mm-hmm. And we're going to dive into those questions next Wednesday. Every Wednesday, this is a special event, but every Wednesday I offer at 5:55 on Wednesdays, after hours rewire, and we can dive into all those questions. Cody, hey, how are you? I'm so glad you're here. Very good to see you. This is my son, Declan.
Nice to meet you. I'll be here all week.
The classic joke, right?
It is a classic
Thank you.
joke.
I'll be here all week.
That is right.
Thank you, Scott. We are trying. We're here on a mission. Cell phone babysitters for toddlers and parents. Babysitters with toddlers and parents that allow it. Yeah, cell phones. I'm not Melvin 3. Really good question. And we have a program in... No, you spelled it wrong, Cody. I'm sorry to tell you. It's with a C. We have a program in our nonprofit that we are championing. It's called the Supernormal Project. We're hoping to unveil the website by next Tuesday so that you can see it. But we have a program, first of all, a program for parents, and secondarily, a program called Unplugged. We have 4 programs coming: a prevention, a remediation, one for parents, and one for organizations. And in there, I'm going to give one of the most important tips that we can when it comes to cell phone use, but I'm going to give you a quick little ditty right now, is that not giving cell phones just to stimulate kids. They have to learn how to have fun without being overstimulated, and not giving them the phone especially as a way to offset boredom. When the kids were little, I don't even know if Declan remembers this, but we always had, I would make them play, and they had the most vivid imaginations. And Minecraft is a really good example. The kids would all play Minecraft together. They actually built an entire replica of their elementary at one point, which is really cool.
I remember that.
But I would make them get off so they could be on Minecraft, even though they're all together. And you know what they would do? They would go to the kitchen table and draw the things that they were going to do. And then they would go outside. Then they would go back. They would get chill time and screen time based on how much they lived in their life. And that's the standards that the National Institute of Health talk about. Double real life time to screen time. And that's more important than ever.
Mm-hmm. Yes. All right. Let's look back at the chat. Can porn affect your studies? Absolutely. I'm a student myself, a college student. And the amount of my peers that have told me that porn has affected their studies is not zero. It's not zero at all. It's definitely something that can have an impact.
Yeah. And
So, same with screen addictions too.
I work with a lot.
I would say they're about equally as big.
Well, they
pornography mostly for men, especially college student aged, is rampant. People.
Yeah. Oh, I'm looking at Flint Hills. Breyer Gareth ran across the videos 4 years ago. That's totally awesome. I don't even know how long.
Yeah, some of our most popular videos are from 4 years ago.
I know.
I feel at least that our videos have gotten better over time. I hope so. I hope you all think so as well. So,
Declan's been actually pivotal in helping me make the videos better. It was his suggestion. If you are new here or if you haven't watched the videos consistently, Declan's suggestion was to make slideshows like the one that we have here. So I've been doing that, and I think the content is getting more informative and has visual representation. So
yeah. And Carrie, I'm glad that you're excited for the website. It should be up this upcoming week. We're just giving it the final touches. We want to put out a website that we're really proud of, that gives everybody the resources that they need. So it'll be out this week, and we will keep you all updated through this channel about that. So keep an eye out.
Yeah, and definitely, Cody, you're right. Like, my husband tells me not to say it, but like, we were booted outside when we were young. Like, goodbye, go have a fun day, and I'll see you for lunch. And then after lunch, we would have to go back outside. And our kids did a fair share, a lot of that, actually. Mm-hmm. Declan was responsible for most of the songs that went along with, the song with the scooters. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And Declan would come out in the princess outfits, right? Fiona cut Declan's hair.
Yeah, when I was around 4 years old.
You were 4. You were adorable. You were so cute.
Good times.
But lots of real life fun. Then some, these kids did not spend their whole life on screen. So let's see. Oh, thank you, Marwan. We can use all the blessings we can get, right, Tech?
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. And if you don't get my emails from Dr. Trish Lee and Company, last week's email, I talked about my daughter, Saoirse. It's in my slideshow from last week too, where, she was really struggling, and she was super cute because she said, just because I'm struggling doesn't mean I'm failing. And I see someone, Eugenese, thank you for supporting Flint, just because you're struggling does not mean you're failing. Most times, if you're being challenged, it's because you're leveling up, right? Mm-hmm. No challenge, then you're not learning and growing. There's so many people, and I tell the people in my group, and I mean it for the people here on the live, the people in my group who have paid money and they show up all the time, they're top 1%. You're here, I'm going to call it top 2%, right? Like, you're doing things that other people aren't, even just by considering how to balance your screen time. So, kudos for you too.
Mm-hmm. Does porn harm people's potential? I would say no. I would say no, because even if you are addicted to pornography, you can come back from that. Your potential is long term. It harms your now really badly. It's a very big detriment on your current life, but there's always a way back if you're willing to put in the willpower.
I love that. And in the book, you've probably heard me say this if you've been around, but there are so many scientific citations that the publishing company made me take them out. They're like, you don't need a citation for everything, but I wanted one so that people know these aren't my thoughts. This is all scientifically validated. All the negative consequences that come from explicit matter. So this isn't hyperbole, right?
Yeah.
So now's the time. Right now is the time to make a plan, start strategizing, start exercising willpower through our capacity strategy, start getting discipline going. Scott, on my website, you can sign up for the emails. Let's see.
You want me to try to pull up your website to show them?
Not really. No, because we can...
Yeah. What is it?
Let's see.
It's drtrishlee.com. drtrishlee.com.
Let's see. Yeah, so Coca-Cola regulating your brain, it's a consistent habit. So I always talk about, when people work with me, I have the highest level technology and I know how to use it at the highest levels. So it is different. It's kind of like getting a haircut. I use that analogy, right? You can get a bad haircut somewhere, get a lower quality haircut, but you can get a high level haircut, but still getting your haircut's good too. So, but you have to do it consistently. What do I think about sitting around being bored to retrieve your dopamine? I love that question. MK ... 4414. The idea of sitting around, that is about stabilizing your nervous system. It's not really retrieving your dopamine. What it's doing is allowing you to enjoy dopamine at lower levels. When you keep going back to the screen, seeking, scrolling, anything with intensity, rapidity, what you're doing is you're overstimulating your brain. So it needs a lot of dopamine to feel good. That's what addiction or compulsion is. It's you need higher and higher levels just to not feel bad. So when you sit around doing nothing, you're retrieving the ability to be able to, feel dopamine in your work again. Dopamine's supposed to be in your work. It's supposed to be in your hobbies. It's supposed to be in your relationships. But when you keep going back to the screen, you end up in a dopamine deficit. Your brain's linked to your screen behaviors and no longer to those three things. That's why work becomes boring. That's why you might look at your partner and now you're irritated by them instead of attracted to them. There's a whole wealth of science, which I've been talking about lately in my videos. And hobbies. I asked people in my intake, we talked about it last week. I asked chat to put in guessing what people put. And the question on my intake is, how do you express your creativity? Number one response I get is, I don't, or not applicable, which is tragic, right? But people don't express their creativity because there's not enough dopamine there anymore. It's all on the screen.
Yeah. All right. Is it about time to wrap up?
It's wrap up. We're over here, my friends. So, okay. So, last thoughts before tomorrow, because we're going to be back tomorrow, people.
We will be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. EST, and we will be streaming every day at 5 p.m. EST, just like this, for the next week.
Tomorrow, we're going to get some chat features going where we have them choose things.
Yeah, of course.
We're
gonna try to give lots of potential for the chat to have impact on what we do this week. We're going to try to do some polls. We're going to try to do some
We're not going to try. Yoda says, don't try. Do or do
not. There is no try. You're right.
Try's the intent to fail.
We will do. That's right.
So we're going to pick one of those things and we're going to do them tomorrow because we really want you to have fun and, get a lot of value. So tomorrow, come with, here's your challenge for the night. You ready for it? Until we see each other again tomorrow at 5 p.m. EST, I want you to think about, or it's called meta, actually. The strategy is feel your thoughts and question them. Think about your programming. Why the thoughts you have, why do you have them? Many of my thoughts used to be my parents' thoughts before I reprogrammed myself. Declan, I try not to program him, so he's programming himself. And if his programming has an error, then I step in. Right?
That's right. That's
so think about that, okay? And we'll dive in tomorrow.
Yes. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming today. That is it for the stream today.
Okay, we'll see you tomorrow, everybody.
Say goodbye to the side camera, Dr. Trishley?
Yep. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Super fun. We'll see you tomorrow.